What's good? What's good? What's good, beautiful people? This is your guy, Tone DeShields II from Chalk It Up Sports, where it don't matter if we win or if we lose, we just gotta charge it to the game. Look, man, how sweet it is to be loved like this. Man, you guys have continued to lock in on the content. You guys have been so gracious, so merciful, so pleasant. You guys have been committed to the grind with me. You guys have been loyal to the soil. You guys have been the pistol on my hip. You know what I'm saying? You guys have been old reliable. I can't deny what you guys mean to me. I can't deny what you guys mean to the content. I can't deny what you guys mean to the ether. I can't deny what you guys mean to the culture. I can't deny what you guys mean to the algorithms. You guys have been awesome. Y'all continue to hit the like button. Y'all continue to subscribe to the content. You guys continue to comment after the fact. You guys continue to hold me accountable. Why should I stop? You dig what I'm saying? Why should I stop doing this thing? Why should I stop applying pressure? Why should I take my foot off these guys' necks? Look, their content is in full effect, and you guys are dope. Again, make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the content. If you're new, man, I hope you like the vibes. Man, I hope you like what you see and hear. We talk about sports here. We talk about the culture here. We talk about life. We talk about motivation here. As y'all can see, I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. I'm a Sixers fan. I'm Philly everything. I'm Philly versus everybody. That's just how I'm rolling. That's just how I carry it. But I'm a man of the people first. And I'm just super proud of y'all. I'm proud of me. I'm proud of everybody, man. Let's get some shout outs out of the way. We got 4 people on the live stream. Shout out to my man Jinx Wolf. I am Rafiki. What's going on? Drew Johnson. Yo, y'all, hold up. Jinx Wolf just graduated from high school. Listen, y'all, let's give Jinx Wolf a round of applause. Shout out to the young brother, Jinx Wolf, for graduating from high school. Drop a congratulations in the live chat. Drop a graduation cap. Drop a balloon. Drop a star. You know what I'm saying? Drop a flame. Drop whatever you got to drop in that live stream to let Jinx Wolf know that he is appreciated. My young Padawan. My young protege. Congratulations on graduating from high school. Life begins. I graduated high school in the year 2013. Life has begun. You are accountable for all your decisions from here on out. The moment you turned 18, or maybe you graduated a little early, maybe you're 17 going on 18. But now society deems you as an adult. Society wants to peg you as someone who knows exactly what they want to do for the rest of their lives. Don't you guys think it's a little bit unfair? And again, shout out to my man Jinx Wolf for graduating from high school. Proud of you, young man. Don't you think it's a bit unfair for society to just naturally assume that at the age of 18, you know exactly what you want to do with the rest of your life? Some people do. Some people do know what they want to do with the rest of their life. And those are the people, I'm proud of y'all for having that vision, having that foresight. But I think it's a bit unfair to just assume that someone at the tender age of 18 should have it all figured out, should know exactly where they're going, to know exactly where they should be. I think that's a bit unfair. I think that's an unfair standard to put on young people. That's an unfair standard society has created, has carved out. But that's the American way, right? Apparently. That's the American way to be thrown to the wolves at the tender age of 18. Look, it was kids working in factories at the age of 12, 13, 14. Let's put it in perspective. Things have actually gotten easier, regardless of where you from, where you come from, your history. Look, we all know that this country has not been kind to everybody, especially it hasn't been kind to people that look like me, right? That's the reality. But as time progresses, society becomes slightly more lenient. Society becomes slightly more accepting. Now, sure, you have your outliers. You have people who will always be prejudiced. You have people who will always, try to keep people down. You can't do much about that. But society, when you think about it from an age perspective, society has slowly gotten easier on age groups. Like I said, there were people who used to have to work in factories at the age of 10, 11, 12 years old. Imagine you're behind at 12 years old, you got to work. We need you to go work in the factory. We need you to bring home a nickel or a dime or a quarter. You dig what I'm saying? That's crazy. Sometimes you got to just put things in perspective, right? We're living in an era where you can carve out any life you want. We're living in a time where the world is literally your oyster. Through diligence, hard work, and commitment and passion, you can get wherever you want, really, for the most part. Sure, you might got to jump through some hurdles. Sure, you might have to jump through, a boss who's an a-hole or a superior or somebody who's blocking you, who's hating on you. You're going to deal with all those kind of things, right? But overall, for the most part, we can pretty much do whatever we want in this life. And Jinx, you graduated from high school now. You are what society calls a man now. You are accountable for every decision. Hey, Jinx, let's keep it all the way real. I like to keep it real, right? I'm 27 years old. I like to keep it real. Hold on, y'all. My dad texted me real quick. Father's Day coming up this weekend, y'all. Make sure y'all do something for your dads. All right, so where was I? Right. You're an adult now. Society deems you as an adult. I don't want to get too dark, but let's keep it all the way real, right? You at the age where if you go to jail for something, you might be there for a while. You at the age now where if you make poor decisions, you could be doing some real time, right? Society is not kind to you when you get to a certain point. That's the reality. But I believe, Jinx, you have a plan. I believe you have a plan, Jinx. I believe you have something you want to do, right? I'm not sure if college is what you want to do. I'm not sure if you want to go to the military. I'm not sure if you want to go to a technical school to pick up a trade. I'm not sure if you want to be an entrepreneur. I'm not sure what you want to do, right? But whatever you do, make sure you give it your all. Make sure you give it your undying attention and passion. Be passionate about what you do. Be passionate about what you love. You feel what I'm saying? Spread love unconditionally. Be a positive influence on life. Don't be a negative influence. You see, there's going to be a moment where I'm not on this planet anymore. There's going to be moments where none of us are on this planet. There's going to be an entire new set of humans. Let's try to leave the world a little bit better than what we left it, or than we found it. Excuse me. Let's try to leave the world a little bit better than where we found it. Whatever you put your hands on, whatever you touch, whatever you get involved in, Jinx, and this goes for everybody in the live chat. Whatever you put your hands on, whatever you lock in on in life, whatever you love, try to leave it a little better than the way you found it. There's no better way to live. There's no better way to. There's no better energy, right? No better energy. But I want to talk to you guys about something that came out recently. PFF, and this is the time of year where lists are at the forefront. This is the time of year where lists are paramount. Everyone's coming out with their list. Their top 10 players, their top 30 teams, their top 32 offenses and coaches and wide receivers and all that kind of stuff, right? Players or coaches that are under the most pressure. We see all those things, right? And we all know the Philadelphia Eagles were ranked number one as having the best offensive line in the NFL. The Philadelphia Eagles have the number one ranked offensive line. And now PFF has decided to talk about the defensive line. Excuse me. Now, I want to go through PFF's top defensive line list. Now, what PFF normally likes to do, PFF normally likes to not just rank them, but group them into tiers. Tier 1 is the elite. Tier 2 is a strong D line with a weak point, with a weak point or two. Tier 3 is solid all around defensive fronts. Tier 4 is great edge duo, but a weak interior. Tier 5 is relying on young players to make a leap. And Tier 6 is question marks at multiple positions. So, what we're going to do, we're going to start at the bottom of the list. We're going to start with number 32. The worst defensive line by way of Pro Football Focus is the Atlanta Falcons. Are we really surprised? Are we really surprised that the Atlanta Falcons are ranked number 32? The Atlanta Falcons have already been considered as having one of the worst rosters in the NFL. They got some talent, but overall, one of the worst rosters. Let's hear what PFF says about the Atlanta Falcons. They say the Falcons had the unenviable distinction of having the only defensive line in the league to grade below 50 as a unit in 2022. Atlanta took some steps to make things better this offseason by bringing Lorenzo Carter and Arnold Ebiketie on the edge, but relying on the second-round rookie and the fifth-year edge rusher who has never earned a PFF pass rushing grade above 62 as the top two options at the position still isn't a spot you want to be in as a defense. They'll be leaning heavily on Grady Jarrett to keep this from being one of the worst units in the league again next season. Wow. The Atlanta Falcons. You see, the Atlanta Falcons invested a lot on the offensive side of the ball. They drafted Drake London really high. I personally think they should have went defense, but I just think they're hustling backwards, right? They drafted a tight end in Kyle Pitts last year. They drafted Drake London in the top 5. It just doesn't make sense to me. You drafted 2 skill position guys that high, yet you have a terrible offensive line and a terrible defensive line. That's not making sense to me. And you have Marcus Mariota as your starting quarterback. That's questionable. You picked up Desmond Riddler, I think, in the undrafted rookie pool, or you drafted him. I'm not sure what, but the Falcons is just a terrible team. I'm not even going to spend too much time talking about them. Not even going to spend too much time talking about them. Now let's go forward. Number 31, the Chicago Bears. Now, this is what they have to say about the Chicago Bears. Excuse me, you guys. When it comes to the Chicago Bears being ranked 31, Robert Quinn stands out as the clear star of Chicago's defensive line, following their decision to cut ties with Khalil Mack. Quinn is fresh off a second-team All-Pro appearance in 2021, but his 69.9 PFF grade, which is 34th amongst 108 qualifying edge rushers, indicates that there were not deserving players for that accolade. The rest of the unit beyond Quinn looks uninspiring on paper. Wow. The Bears suck. The Bears suck. And are we really surprised? I don't know how I feel about Justin Fields. That defense in general is questionable. Al-Qadim Muhammad comes over with new head coach Matt Eberflus from the Indianapolis Colts after earning PFF grades between 60 and 67 in each of the last 4 seasons for the Colts. On the interior, Justin Jones, Kairis Tonga, Angelo Blackson, and Mario Edwards Jr. will all compete. Will all compete for snaps. Jones and Blackson are the most established of that group, but they've combined for just 1 season with a PFF grade above 60 on at least 250 defensive snaps in 11 combined seasons. You know, the Bears have truly been a disappointment. And we're going to get to the Eagles because the Eagles are actually ranked pretty well. But the Bears are a disappointment, and there's nothing really to get into about that. The Houston Texans. The Houston Texans are ranked 30th. The Texans lost one of their primary edge rushers during the 2021 season with Jacob Martin, but they're still likely in better shape entering 2022. Ogbonia Okoronkwo could break out if given an opportunity in a larger role. Okoronkwo's 314 defensive snaps in 2021 marked a career high, as did his 75.3 PFF pass rushing grade. He's joined by veterans Jerry Hughes and Mario Addison, alongside Jonathan Greenard. Houston will also be looking for more out of 2020 second-round pick Ross Blacklock on the interior. Blacklock improved his PFF grade from 30.2 as a rookie to 50.4 in 2021, but the run game is his biggest area of growth after earning PFF on run defense grades below 40 in each of his first 2 seasons. Now the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks are ranked 29th. It says the Seahawks have a few starting caliber pieces on the interior between Poona Ford, Shelby Harris, and Al Woods, but it's difficult to see where the pressure of the edge is going to come from in 2022. Free agent acquisition Uchenna Nwosu has a career PFF passing rushing grade below 70, leaving it up to one of Seattle's young edge rushers such as Darrell Taylor, Alton Robinson, or Boyd Maffei to lead the way. Taylor is the most likely player to step up. The former Tennessee Volunteer missed his rookie season in 2020 with injury, but he recorded 36 quarterback pressures in a rotational role last year. '28th are the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, the Jacksonville Jaguars just drafted Trayvon Walker. I think number 1 overall, right? We'll see what happens with him. But it says the Jacksonville Jaguars have invested a lot of resources into the edge defender position, with first-round picks spent on Josh Allen, K'Lavon Chaisson, and Trayvon Walker in the last 4 seasons. However, Walker was drafted number 1 overall for his rare physical traits and not his track record of college production. It remains to be seen how much he can add as a rookie at the position, where both production and athleticism matter when projecting in the NFL. The Arizona Cardinals are ranked 27th. The Cardinals are asking 2 rookies, Cameron Thomas and Majai Sanders, to replace Chandler Jones' production on the edge. That's no easy task. Jones recorded a PFF pass rushing grade above 84 in 4 of his 6 seasons with the Cardinals. J.J. Watt is still in the fold as an impact player up front, as his 18.3% pass rush win rate when healthy last season ranked 5th among all interior defensive linemen with at least 100 pass rushing snaps. But staying healthy has been the issue for Watt as he enters his 12th NFL season. All right, so that is the Tier 6. Arizona Cardinals 27, Jacksonville Jaguars 28, Seattle Seahawks 29, Houston Texans 30, Chicago Bears 31, and Atlanta Falcons 32. That rounds out Tier 6. Now, let's get to Tier 5. Tier 5, remember, Tier 5 means relying on younger players to make a leap. At 26, you have the Detroit Lions. Detroit has potential up front with a myriad of young recent draft picks such as Levi Levi O, Aleem McNeil, Aiden Hutchinson, Josh Pascal, and Julian Okoro. However, there isn't a ton of proven high-level NFL talent. Michael Brocker is one of the established veterans on the interior, is coming off by far one of the worst seasons of his NFL career. However, there's reason to believe Aiden Hutchinson, the number 2 overall pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, can hit the ground running. He has the combination of athletic traits and college production that typically translates to NFL success. All right, so Detroit Lions at 26. At 25, Kansas City Chiefs. Chris Jones has been a force for the Chiefs since he was drafted in 2016. He ranks second at the position in PFF's WAR metric over the last 6 seasons, trailing only Aaron Donald among players who have played the vast majority of their snaps on the interior. However, Jones hasn't gotten much help from his teammates on the edge in recent years. Kansas City's edge defenders collectively ranked 28th in PFF grade since 2020. That puts a lot of pressure on rookie George Karlaftis to hit the ground running, particularly after letting Melvin Ingram III leave for Miami in free agency. So this is going to be interesting for Kansas City because they brought in George Karlaftis. They got Chris Jones. The Kansas City Chiefs, unfortunately, have never been known for their D-line. They've always had one player that you can respect, but everybody else is kind of just guys. So I'm not really surprised about the Kansas City Chiefs being put that low. This list is going to get more interesting as we get closer to the top. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Hit that like button and make sure you subscribe if you're new to the content. And also make sure you guys are commenting below your thoughts. At 24, in Tier 5. And remember, Tier 5 is relying on younger players to make a leap. So the Chiefs are relying on George Karlaftis to make a splash at 25. Now, ranked 24th are the Carolina Panthers. It says here the Panthers have an extremely young group along the defensive line. The recently added Matt Ioannidis qualifies as a veteran at 28 years old, and Carolina needs those younger players to step up if the team wants to improve on its 5-12 record from last season. The Hassan Reddick and Morgan Fox losses put more pressure on third-year edge defender Yetur Gross-Matos alongside Brian Burns and Derek Brown to provide spark. Gross-Matos has played fewer than 400 defensive snaps in each of his first 2 seasons, with 20 or fewer quarterback pressures both years. Wow. Ranked 23rd are the New England Patriots. It says here, Matthew Judon is never going to crack the elite tier of edge rushers, but he can be relied on to play the run and defend a steady stream of pressure and provide a steady stream of pressure. Judon has recorded at least 35 pressures in each of his last 5 seasons. The way that this Patriots defensive front rises up the rankings is with big jumps from Chris Barmore, Josh Uche, and Ronnie Perkins. Barmore, in particular, has an opportunity for a big 2022 season. His 48 quarterback pressures as a rookie were over 10 more than any other rookie interior defensive lineman in the last 5 seasons. Wow. Interesting. Ranked 22 are the New York Giants. The Giants' defensive front has a high ceiling, but that's relying on Kayvon Thibodeau and Azeez Ojulari performing at a high level in their first and second NFL seasons, respectively. Thibodeau has ideal pass rush traits off the edge that led to a 91.5 pass rushing grade at Oregon in 2021, but it can sometimes take players in the trenches a season or 2 to find their footing once jumping to the NFL. Ojulari does have one of those years under the belt already, earning just a 56.9 PFF pass rush grade despite some success in the pressure column with 42 pressures. Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence form a nice foundation on the interior, but the Giants need Thibodeau and Ojulari to really elevate the unit. And that rounds out Tier 5. Remember, Tier 5, they're relying on younger players to make a leap, and Tier 6 is question marks at multiple positions. We are now entering Tier 4. At the bottom of Tier 4, the Dallas Cowboys are ranked 21st when it comes to their defensive line. The Cowboys ranking depends on how you classify Michael Parsons, as he'll likely split his time between off ball and edge alignments again in 2022, just as he did during his rookie season. On snaps where Parsons is lined up on the edge opposite DeMarcus Lawrence, that's one of the best edge tandems in the league. Parsons' 23.4% pass rush win rate when lined up outside the tackle in 2022 ranked fourth among all players with at least 100 snaps in such alignments, trailing only Max Crosby, Rashawn Gary, and Myles Garrett. Meanwhile, DeMarcus Lawrence ranks tied for second in PFF grade at the position since 2017. The defensive tackle position remains the weak point of the unit after combining for a 33.1 PFF run defense grade in 2021, meaning that you could run all over the Cowboys. They were ranked 30th out of 32 teams. Osa Odighizuwa, who recorded 38 pressures as a rookie last season, could step up in his second season out of UCLA. UCLA. And remember, you guys, this is tier 4, which means they have a great edge duo, but they have a weak interior. So the Dallas Cowboys are ranked 21st. Ranked 20th are the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are in a similar boat to Las Vegas and Dallas. Myles Garrett has firmly established himself as one of the NFL's most dangerous pass rushers, earning PFF pass rush grades above 90 in each of the last 3 seasons. The DeJavian Clowney re-signing was a necessary move for the Browns, both with the disruption he causes in the passing game and his ability to defend the run at a high level. Cleveland will be lucky to sniff close to the same level of play on their interior as his defensive tackles collectively earned the 5th lowest grade of any group in the league last season. The Browns did add Perion Winfrey in the draft, but he doesn't profile as the interior run stuffer that this roster needs. Cleveland Browns are ranked 20th. Now, ranked 19th are the Las Vegas Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders have Max Crosby. Max Crosby made his push for the NFL's elite edge rushers tier with the breakout third season out of Eastern Michigan in 2021. His 91.9 PFF pass rushing grade last season trailed only Myles Garrett at the position, and no defender recorded more quarterback pressures than Crosby did over the course of the regular season. He'll be joined next season by one of the premier sack artists in the league over the past decade, Chandler Jones. The only thing holding the Raiders down in these rankings is one of the weaker interior defensive lines in the NFL. Bilal Nichols is the defensive tackle on the Raiders roster with the highest 2021 PFF grade at just 61.3. So the Raiders, the Cleveland Browns, and the Dallas Cowboys have great edge rushers, but they're very weak in the interior. That rounds out tier 4. Now we're entering tier 3. Now we're entering tier 3. At the bottom of tier 3, and remember, tier 3 is solid all-around defensive fronts. At the bottom of tier 3, ranked 18th amongst 32 teams when it comes to their D-line, are the Baltimore Ravens. Now, Baltimore added some size on the interior with Michael Pierce's return in free agency, in addition to drafting Travis Jones out of UConn. Both should help bolster their run defense alongside Calais Campbell and Justin Matabuki. This group's ceiling hinges on second-year edge defenders. Odafe Always improvement. Always had a solid rookie season against both the run and pass, and then the year with the 67.9 PFF grade. He enters the 2022 season as the Ravens' top option off the edge and will be relied upon to generate pressure on a defense lacking high-end pass rushing options. Ranked 17th are the Denver Broncos. The Broncos did some work to bolster their defensive front entering the 2022 season, but it remains to be seen how Randy Gregory, DJ Jones, Nick Bonito fit with Bradley Chubb and Draymond Jones. Gregory has played over 500 defensive snaps just once in his NFL career, which was 2018, but he's been an effective pass rusher for Dallas when on the field over the last 2 seasons, as his 15% pressure rate since 2020 is a top 10 mark among edge rushers with at least 250 pass rushing snaps. Bonito will likely be limited to a designated pass rusher role early on, but he also stood out as one of the more efficient pass rushers on a pre-snap basis at the college level. Ranked 16th are the New York Jets. The New York Jets' defensive line was hamstrung last year by a preseason Carl Lawson's injury and Quentin Williams failing to build on a strong 2020 campaign. It still stands out as a group with potential entering the 2022 season, though. Lawson's return from injury is accompanied by the addition of first-round pick Jermaine Johnson II and free agent acquisition Jacob Martin to the edge defender rotation. Martin earned an above-average pass rushing grade in true pass rush situations and an expanded role last season for Houston. And Johnson is an edge setter who wins with his length and leverage in the run game. Ranked 15th are the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins' blitz-heavy approach, made possible by talent in the secondary such as Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, and Javon Holland, allows them to generate pressure via scheme rather than individual pass rushing talent. Miami does have an interesting group to send at quarterback off the edge: Emmanuel Ogba, Melvin Ingram III, Jalen Phillips, and Andrew Van Ginkel. But its strength lies in the interior duo of Christian Wilkins and Zach Sealer, both of whom performed at a high level in 2021, earning PFF grades above 80 last season. So far, Miami Dolphins are ranked 15th. New York Jets are ranked 16th. Denver Broncos are ranked 17th. Baltimore Ravens are ranked 18th. Las Vegas Raiders are ranked 19th. 20th are the Cleveland Browns. 21st are the Dallas Cowboys. 22nd are the New York Giants. 23rd are the New England Patriots. 24th are the Carolina Panthers. 25th, Kansas City Chiefs. 26th, Detroit Lions. 27th, Arizona Cardinals. 28th, Jacksonville Jaguars. 29th, Seattle Seahawks. 30th, Houston Texans. 31st, Chicago Bears. 32nd, Atlanta Falcons. Now, ahead of the Miami Dolphins, you have the Cincinnati Bengals, who are ranked 14th as having the 14th best defensive line group. It says here, Cincinnati's defensive line, like much of its defense, has been shaped by free agency over the last 2 to 3 off seasons. Trey Hendrickson proved last season that his 2020 breakout with the New Orleans Saints wasn't a fluke, as his 75 quarterback pressures during the 2021 regular season were a top 5 mark among all edge rushers. DJ Reader was acquired from the Houston Texans during the previous offseason, but last year was his first full season in Cincinnati after missing time due to injury in 2020. Reader's impact was felt in the run game, where he ranked in the 92nd percentile among qualifying interior defensive linemen in PFF run defense grade last season. So, the top half of the league, Miami Dolphins ranked 15th, Cincinnati Bengals ranked 14th. Now, ranked 13th are the Buffalo Bills. I actually thought they'd be a little higher, but here we are. The Buffalo Bills. It says General Manager Brandon Beane and company have continuously poured resources into their defensive line in recent off seasons, and that didn't change this year. A 33-year-old Von Miller is the star acquisition, fresh off a postseason run where he led all defenders in PFF pass rushing grade. However, Buffalo also added Daquan Jones and Tim Settle to its interior defensive line. Settle had a limited role behind 2 entrenched starters in Washington, but he's earned PFF pass rush grades north of 72 in each of his last 2 seasons. There are several younger players such as Greg Russo and AJ Epinesa, who the Bills will be looking to take a leap, but it's a well-rounded unit overall. I still can't believe they gave Von Miller that big old contract. They gave that man 4 years, like $100 million, something like that. 5 years, $100 million. All right, so that rounds out tier 3, which is solid all-around defensive fronts. Let's go through tier 3 one more time. Ranked 13th, you have the Buffalo Bills. Ranked 14th, you have the Cincinnati Bengals. Ranked 15th, you have the Miami Dolphins. 16th, the New York Jets. 17th, the Denver Broncos. 18th, Baltimore Ravens. And that's the tier 3. Now let's get into tier 2. And this is where things get fun for us. Remember, tier 2 is a strong defensive line with a weak point or two. At the bottom of tier 2, you have the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota's defensive line could have some validity. I can't even say the word. Volatility based on the health of their starting edge duo, Danielle Hunter and Zadarius Smith. Hunter appeared in just 7 games in 2021 with a torn pectoral muscle after missing the entire 2020 season with a herniated disc. Smith is also coming off of just 37 defensive snaps last season, dealing with a back injury of his own. The downside of that, neither is able to come back at full health and remain on the field. The upside, however, is the two of the more impactful edge rushers in the NFL, threatening offenses on a down-by-down basis. Smith and Hunter ranked first and second in quarterback pressures back in 2019. Wow. If you can't stay on the field, though, then that doesn't mean nothing, though, if you ask me. Ranked 11th are the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts is going to rely on its front four to generate pressure in Gus Bradley's new scheme, as no defense blitzed less than Bradley's Chargers when he was defensive coordinator from 2017 to 2020. And the same was true for the Las Vegas Raiders under Bradley last season. The Colts have the players up front to get pressure with four rushers, especially after Yannick Ngakwe's reunion with Bradley in Indianapolis. The Forest Buckner ranks fourth among the interior defensive linemen in combined sacks and quarterback hits since joining the Colts in 2020 and 2021. First round pick Kwity Paye is looking for a breakout second season as the favorite for the Leo role in Bradley's defense. Ranked 10th are the Tennessee Titans. So now we're in the top 10, you guys. The Tennessee Titans have a top 10 defensive line. It says Jeffrey Simmons is beginning to establish himself as one of the best young interior defensive linemen in the NFL, as his 62 quarterback pressures in 2021 ranked fifth at the position. He's joined by a couple of nice pieces up front with Danico Autry, Bud Dupree, and Harold Landry III. PFF is a little bit lower on both Landry and Dupree than Tennessee is given the size of their recently signed contracts, but both are still productive players who can capitalize on the interior push from Simmons and Autry. Now, ranked number 9 are the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles, according to PFF, have a top 10 defensive line, which is pretty good if you ask me. I'll take number 9. I can live with that. But let's hear their reasoning. It says the backbone of Philadelphia's defensive line for years has been a 31-year-old Fletcher Cox and a 34-year-old Brandon Graham, and they're aging. However, Eagles have done a nice job of continuing to add depth and create a deep rotation this offseason. Philadelphia added Jordan Davis and Hassan Reddick this offseason while also bringing back Derek Barnett in free agency. As he displayed at the Combine, Davis is truly a unique talent for his size, who can single-handedly change a run defense with his power and the way he can hold the point of attack on the interior. Reddick, meanwhile, is tied for 15th among edge rushers and quarterback pressures over the last 2 seasons with 99. Also, don't forget, Hassan Reddick is coming off of 2 back-to-back double-digit sack seasons. That's going to be huge as well. Also, do not forget that we got Milton Williams. Milton Williams is a guy who's looking to make a big impact coming into the season. And then you have Josh Sweat. You have to think about all those things. So I'm really happy that the Eagles are top 10, if I'm being honest with you. We're going to double back to that in a second. I want to finish the list. Ranked 8th are the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints, it says here, Cameron Jordan is as consistently productive an edge defender as you'll find, as he defends both the run and pass at a high level while missing very little time in New Orleans over the last decade. Narrowing that focus is just the last 5 years, Jordan ranks first among edge defenders in snaps played and fourth in PFF grade. He's joined on the Saints defensive line by David Onyemata and Marcus Davenport, who has produced at a high level when healthy. Staying healthy has been the difficult part for Davenport, with missed time in each of the last 4 seasons. Ranked 7th is the Los Angeles Chargers. The Khalil Mack Joey Bosa pairing on the edge is the best in the NFL if both players can remain healthy. Since 2016, those two ranked first and fourth respectively among edge defenders in PFF's WAR metric. There seems to be a perception that Mack isn't elite anymore, but he ranked first at the position in PFF grade in his last healthy season in 2020. It's difficult to imagine that his ability to defend the run wasn't a driving factor in the Chargers' desire to trade for him this offseason. The interior was bolstered by some familiar faces to Brandon Staley, Sebastian Joseph Day, and Morgan Fox, along with Austin Johnson from the New York Giants. It still doesn't project as one of the best interior defensive lines in the league, but it should be significantly improved compared to last year's group. And that is tier 2. Remember, tier 2 is strong with a weak point or two. Let's revisit tier 2. In Tier 2, you have the Los Angeles Chargers at 7. 8th, you have New Orleans Saints. 9th, you have the Philadelphia Eagles. 10th, you have the Tennessee Titans. 11th, you have the Indianapolis Colts. 12th, you have the Minnesota Vikings. Now let's get to Tier 1. Tier 1 is the elite defensive lines in the NFL. Elite, the best of the best of the best of the best. That's a Men in Black reference if you don't know. Anyway, rank 6 are the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers have one of the deeper edge rusher rotations in the league with Samson Ibukam, Drake Jackson, Charles Omenihu, Kerry Hyder, and Kimiko Toure, all competing for snaps on the edge. Nick Bosa will not be in that competition coming off of a 2021 season where he ranked 7th at the position in PFF grade, as he's one of the best all-around edge defenders in the NFL. Eric Armstead is expected to move back to primarily an interior role, where he's been better as a pass rusher than a run defender over the last 4 seasons. With Javon Kinlaw yet to establish himself as an above-average starter on the interior, defensive tackles stand out as the one potential weak point of this unit. Ranked 5th are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It says here the Akeem Hicks addition gives the Buccaneers another wrecking ball on the interior to pair with Vita Vea. Tampa Bay will be relying on Hicks staying healthy and second-year edge rusher Joe Tryon Shoyinka stepping forward in an increased role, but it still has Vea and Shaquille Barrett to lean on as the cornerstones of its front. Vea ranks among the top 10 interior defensive linemen in pressure rate with 11.3% since 2018. He's been a big part of Tampa Bay's second-ranked run defense and expected points added per play over the last 4 seasons. Barrett, meanwhile, ranks first among all edge rushers and quarterback pressures since joining the Buccaneers in 2019. Ranked 4th is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Stephon Tuitt's retirement hurts this group's outlook entering 2022 and likely puts Chris Wormley back into a similar role to the one he filled in 2021. However, Pittsburgh still has a top 3 interior defensive lineman and top 3 edge defender on the roster, as TJ Watt and Cameron Hayward both rank among the top 3 players at their respective position in quarterback pressures over the last 3 seasons, while also playing the run at a high level. Alex Highsmith is an X factor for the unit entering the 3rd season out of Charlotte. Highsmith saw his pass rushing efficiency decrease in 2021 while doubling his snap count from 459 as a rookie to 910 last season. Let's move on to number 3. Ranked 3rd are the Green Bay Packers. It says here, it seems strange to say for a team with a reigning 2-time MVP at quarterback, but the Packers could lean on their defense in 2022. Rashawn Gary has improved in each of his last 2 seasons, making the jump to elite pass rushers in 2021 as his 26% pass rush win rate trailed only Max Crosby's last season. Rashawn Gary developing into the player who the Packers drafted him to be in the first round of the 2019 NFL Draft, while playing alongside returners like Kenny Clark and Preston Smith, and newcomers Devonta Wyatt and Jaron Reed, makes this a formidable unit entering next season. Ranked number 2 are the Washington Commanders. Expectations were sky high for Washington's defensive line and defensive overall entering last season, and there were a few more disappointing performances than Washington's defense ending the 2021 campaign ranked 27th in yards allowed per play. It's reasonable to bank on some regression in 2021, starting with better health at defensive end, where Chase Young and Montez Sweat combined to miss 15 games in 2021. During the 2020 season, those two ranked 7th and 8th, respectively, in PFF's wins above replacement metric, and Jonathan Allen might actually be the best player on the defensive line entering 2022. Allen's 18.5% pass rush win rate since 2020 ranks 4th among all qualifying interior defensive linemen. And the number one defensive line in the NFL are the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams don't have the same kind of depth, particularly on the edge, as some of the other teams in this tier, but that matters a whole lot less when Aaron Donald is on the roster, as he's the most reliable elite performer in the NFL. Donald's brilliance has been well documented, but his durability is an underrated aspect of his game. He played over 1,200 defensive snaps through the 2021 regular season and the Rams' postseason run, and his 6,995 regular season defensive snaps since 2014 are more than any other interior defensive lineman in the NFL. The Rams' defense should continue to be able to court or count on elite play from down on nearly every defensive snap, creating opportunities for Leonard Floyd, Ashawn Robinson, Greg Gaines, and Justin Hollins in 2022. So that is the top 32 defensive lines. That is the defensive line rankings in the NFL. Let's start from tier one and work our way down and revisit. So number one, you have the Los Angeles Rams. Number two, you have the Commanders. Number three, you have Green Bay. Number four, you have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number five, you have Tampa Bay. Number six, you have the 49ers. Number seven, you have the Los Angeles Chargers. Number eight, you have the New Orleans Saints. Number nine, you have the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 10, you have the Titans. Number 11, you have the Colts. Number 12, you have the Vikings. Number 13, you have the Bills. Number 14, you have the Bengals. Number 15, you have Miami. Number 16, you have the Jets. Number 17, you have the Broncos. Number 18, you have Baltimore. Number 19, you have the Raiders. Ranked 20th is the Browns. 21st are the Dallas Cowboys. 22nd is the New York Giants. 23rd is the New England Patriots. 24th are the Carolina Panthers. 25th is the Kansas City Chiefs. 26th is the Detroit Lions. 27th is the Arizona Cardinals. 28th, Jacksonville Jaguars. 29th, Seattle Seahawks. 30th, Houston Texans. 31st, Chicago Bears. And 32nd are the Atlanta Falcons. So, I'm actually not mad with the Eagles being ranked 9th. I can live with being top 10, especially when you think about the age we have. But, you guys, this live stream isn't going to be that long. I had to go to the bathroom really, really bad. And I've been holding it for a long time because I create a lot of content. But I want you guys to comment below and tell me what you guys think of the Philadelphia Eagles being ranked 9th. I'm going to make a video talking about it pretty soon. But, you guys, I got to get out of here. I appreciate the love and support so much. I'm your humble host, Tone DeShields II from Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got charges to the game. One love, stay humble, stay healthy, most importantly, stay hungry. And I love y'all. Peace out.